DLC for Rome 2 Total War. It's set 432 BC. It's got some information here. It's pretty much the Peloponnesian War. So that's the city-states of Greece had just beaten back the Persians. This is before Alexander and after Thermopylae. After the naval battle of Salamis, it kind of turned the Persians back. And again, I'm not a historian, so if anyone wants to correct me, they can. The city-states were all fairly independently powerful. Athens had risen to power and was expanding their power, and the Spartans and the Corinthians were a little wary of their power. So that's sort of the background here. It gives you some space to read here, but I'll run through the forward intro and then play through and tell you what I'm doing. Generally speaking, there's two sort of groups of alliances that are vying for supremacy at a sort of an inopportune time, with Persia being ever present. Eventually Persia can work its way into this, but we're going to play as Sparta here, and I'll just run through some of it for you.
Exposed to threats from across the Aegean, and our people will suffer. If the Corinthians want war, they should seek it alone.
You would see all of Greece under the heel of Athenae, cowering from them like chided slaves. We spilled blood at Potidea, but now we need allies. The might of Sparta will halt their ambition.
Your flattery is wasted. You know not what you ask.
All eyes look on Sparta, and this is what you would have them see. From birth, a Spartan is trained for one purpose. To do battle.
You are Pandora, clutching at a vessel you do not understand.
They dare think themselves your equal. None can match your skill. It is every Spartan's duty to embody the very nature of war. Strike now! I beg you!
You would plunge Greece into chaos!
Then from chaos, we will rise!
So there you have it. The Spartans, very militaristic people gathering to sort of...
40 years have passed since our great victories over the Persians. It should have been the start of our golden age, but instead we squabble amongst ourselves. The Hellenic League, formed to take the fight to the invaders, did not last. Suspicious of the ambitions of Athena, Sparta and many other great city-states left. They were right to be suspicious. Athena has turned the league they formed into an empire under their control. It is now less a collection of independent cities and more a series of bases for their powerful navy. In the face of Athenian hegemony, Sparta has reformed the Peloponnesian League with Corinthus and the smaller Boeotian League of Cities. As these two powerful groups face off against each other, war is brewing. Let us not forget the Persians. Their empire still stands, and keeps a careful eye on developments in Greece to make sure that no single group becomes too powerful. Sparta has every right to mistrust the Athenians. Barely 10 years prior, Athena fought a war against their ally, Corinthus. Athenian arrogance has now become too great for the Spartans to bear. However, Athena's greatest strength is also their biggest, most exploitable weakness. Athena's wooden wall, the fleet that guarantees their dominance at sea, is no match for the elite hoplites of Sparta. Sparta's aim is to cripple Athena on land to prevent its navy becoming too large. Since the mines at Lavrio provide much of the city's income, and therefore its shipbuilding capabilities, Their loss would be devastating. Once Lavrio has been captured, Athena itself should be the next target. It is the key to dominance over all Greeks.
Okay, so there is a lot to this game. I'm not going to be able to go into all of it, but pretty much you start off here with an objective. Rise up, take your stand at one another's sides, our feet set wide and rooted like oaks in the ground. Treatise of Tyrtaeus of Sparta war poems. Alright, objectives: completely control 4 provinces, either by direct ownership or through client states and military allies. New bonus 2,500 in currency if you complete that. Alright, so they say in the beginning Sparta's kind of averse to diplomatic sabotage, but we can also use that defensively. So what I like to do is go through my items. First of all, I like to get on the technology tree and see what we're doing here. We have everything here logged except for the citizen conscription and the civil. I think we're going to go with citizen conscription. It'll take 2 turns to provide that technology. It shows you on the left over here what it does. Halisteros barracks names the building of those. Everyone was in their position in the natural order. Alright, so we got that taken care of. Kind of go along the bottom here. There's a whole, like I said, a whole ton of things. You got your main characters here. Pleisotanix is 56 years old, not really ambitious. Gravitas is sort of their how much people respect them in the political realm. There's 4 gentlemen here, a couple of juniors, an older fellow. Anyway, you can go through a lot of. There's a politics page, shows how close you are to insurrection, your characters, your summary for your whole group. There's a ton of it. So our military allies at this point are Elis, Corinthos, and Boeotian League, and it's important to know those. We're at war with the Ionians, the Byzantines, Athenae, and Rhodes. Trade partners with these guys. Alright, so we set off in kind of this position here in the lower portion of modern-day Greece. They think it'd be a good idea to branch out here. And I'm having to start moving my map. There we go. Over to Lorien. Take that and move up on Athenos. There is a penalty for capturing the major hubs of your enemies, but you know, if the game gives you a strategy, that's a good one to follow. We have to be wary about Athens' ability to hit Thebes and Corinth, and then we have to build up here to make sure that they don't get us up there. I like to go through first of all my units. I got my objectives. These are each of my individuals. Stephanidis, he's 61. He's got a trait of being an order, so good at cultural propaganda, spreading cultural tension, and all that stuff. So Argos is not yet in it. I'm going to check diplomacy really quick here. This is the diplomacy tab. Shows you in green who is with us, red who's against us. These guys are sort of in the middle. Not quite sure how to do that. So we want to, I think it makes sense for us to try and band together with these guys. We're going to reach out to them and make sure Athens can't spread too far west. If they draw a line through the middle, it'll bisect our allies. So I'm going to approach Argos. We do not have trade open with them yet. Our attitude's fairly neutral. They like us somewhat, so I'm going to go to them.
Greetings, my friend. You have my ear for your speech, and if it profits my people, agreement too.
Our opinion of them is they're confident but unreliable. Their opinion of us is that we're steadfast. So that factors into your diplomacy. I'm going to look at trade agreement, like high likelihood of success. So I'm going to start there. We'll build trade. We'll get some.
Words bring
looks like we're
satisfaction
trading
to the gods and
lead
to my
glassware.
people.
They're importing lead
You have
glassware
wisdom
and
indeed.
marble. We're importing the same as well. So we're gonna have some trade going between us. Can make us some money. Once we build good relations, then we could approach them in a later. Each turn here is a month in this conflict. Argos similar situation. I mean, I'm sorry, the Achaean League. I'm going to ask about trade with them as well. Cancel trade. We are trading with Argos. Or the Achaean League, I'm sorry. No, we are not trading with them. Cannot trade. A sea route can't be made. So we'll offer them something
welcome.
else.
If I can give you a fair answer, you will have it.
So we can't do a trade, so we'll look for something like a non-aggression pact. Again, we're just sort of setting them up
Your
to
words
be
bring
friends.
satisfaction to the gods and to my people. You have wisdom indeed.
Yes, he's very flattering. So now I want to reach out to the Ayatolian League. Looks like our opinion is about the same. They're not quite as fond, but we can trade with them. We have a trade route open.
Be welcome. But may Athena strike us all dumb if we speak anything but truth in our deliberations.
They're pretty loquacious. I'm going to offer a trade agreement against Success High.
My people will find much joy in this. I accept. I will sacrifice for your continued good health.
Well, that's good to know. Alright, so there we are. We're at good terms now with the group in the middle here. We can reach out to other groups as well. We kind of want to get ahead of them. But I think it may be best while we're reaching into Attica, or however you pronounce that, to sort of squeeze off this whole left region. Now, Pyros is... we have a trade agreement with them? Hold on a second. Cultural aversion with us. We could trade with them. I'm going to reach out to Epirus as well. They're not allied with anyone yet.
Greetings, my friend. You have my ear for your speech, and if it profits my people, agreement too.
Low success of trade agreement. Alright, so I'm going to offer something else. It's nice that they have that there. It lets you kind of know how amenable they are to certain things here. I'm going to go with the non-aggression pact. Low success for that. Alright, well, I may leave them alone here. I don't want to do something that's going to cost me much. So, just checking the defensive alliance. Nope, not going to work. I'm going to leave them alone for now and go back to the main screen. So for diplomacy, I'm happy with where we're at right now. This gentleman, I'm going to move him north because that's where he's going to need it to get his work done. As long as he's still in our province here. And he's not. He stepped outside of our province. I'm not going to work against Argos because I want to be their friend. Sons of Ares. Again, I don't have to worry too much about the west here, although I would like to have an army that can go between Messenia and Pylos to protect those areas in case the Athenians try a run around. So I'm going to garrison the town at first, which ups the happiness there, and I'm going to recruit some more units. Now it helps to know a little something about each of these. If you right click on them, it'll bring you up a group that will tell you all about them. If you know about them historically, it helps out. But let's see, we've got Spartan hoplites. I'd like a couple more of those. Maybe a little cavalry, a little light cavalry. Well, that is our cavalry there. We don't have any. I'm sorry, we're raising from up here. I do need some archers as well. So it's going to take 4 months for each of them and 2 more months for them. Now I want to go to the Thunderbolts of Zeus, who are up here, and again they're going to kind of deal over this way. I'm going to garrison the town. That'll up the happiness, and I'll add to the army somewhat. A couple more Spartan youths. Do they have 2 of them already? Can't get any more hoplites. Actually, I'm going to add 1 more light cavalry and 1 more of the Haliac javelin. Alright. This is my main army. I'm gonna start to build these guys up pretty well because these guys are gonna be my invasion force. A couple more of the hoplites. These Spartan youths. Those are the hoplites. So I'm gonna do 2 of the Spartan youths. That's all I can afford right now. Down here's my treasury. It's what I have left. This is what my projected income will be. There's my food. There's a lot to think about in this game, but once you learn it, it's not too difficult. So those are my units. I could also arrange, buy new units. Here's tells you when the first time you click on a settlement, it shows you a little bit of its history. I'm not going to be able to expand my towns much. I could do this. I can expand the city of Sparta, which I will do. It's going to tear down walls and build up further. Oh, I've just actually marked the ground to build, but I haven't chosen what to build yet. On my next turn, I'm going to need to pick something to build, otherwise it'll fall to ruins. So I don't want that. Alright, so all of my units have been accounted for. Now I'm going to go to my villages, or my regions. Again, I've upgraded these areas, but I really can't build any buildings at this point. I've spent it all on my army. Lamia, there's a little bit of a... And I want to hire at some point some more agents. But I really don't have time to do that yet. Lamia's over here, and there's the city expanding. So that'll work to our benefit. There's not much else I could do at this point. So I'm going to end my turn, and we'll see what happens. Fellow, you still have an edict. Oh, I can, that's right. Oops, I accidentally hit the OK button. You can issue edicts that will help provide your people with additional things. I should have done so and lost my chance. You need to control an entire province, which is usually a few regions, to issue edicts. But it is very helpful, and I'll show you on my next turn. Now it's kind of running through everyone else's turns. It's hard to keep an eye on everything.
Our merchants seek prosperity in your lands. Yours could do the same in ours. Will you agree to this?
So Melos has reached out to us with a trade agreement. They have no political alliances with anyone, so we don't have to worry about that. Anytime in that case someone reaches out to me, I normally accept.
You serve the gods and your people well with this agreement. I will make sacrifice in thanks of it.
Sounds good. Alright. The perils of hegemony, or hegemony, whatever you say. A war that takes out unnatural allies fight together and drastic measures taken to defeat a common enemy. However, the Greek world does not look kindly upon expansionism. The capture of these cities, as I was speaking before, Athens, Thebes, Corinth, Sparta, was caused severe diplomatic penalties. Instead, aim to erode their influence by striking at the smaller possessions. They allow you to zoom to a location, but they're pretty much talking about Athens. They say you take Athens and you'll suffer a penalty. Sort of a public penalty. Now, an alliance has been forged between the Ionians and Rhodes, which is, they were against us anyway, so that's not really an issue. They're out here in modern-day Greece, Anatolia. Brasidas becoming foul-mouthed. Normally he's been in town for too long, so he's kind of a field general. So there you go. That was my first set there. Now again, I go to my forces, which are still building. So I really don't have to do much with them. This.
What do you wish of me?
Thenelatus. I don't know how to pronounce the Greek. I'm going to butcher it, but so here I gotta sort of decide what I want to do, and I think I'm going to eventually make his way up north, like far north and west. But as I'm going through, I could stop in Corinth and cause some disruption, and I could pick what I want to do. But now hold on a second, I gotta go back and look at my... I think I'm going to work on something else first, because I want to make sure I have enough money to do everything I need. I need to expand, I need to build out of these areas. So in these communities, again, if you hover over here on the left, it shows you what the benefit is. Consecrated ground, these are things I can build. I've got 2 food, so I can And this is, if you gotta click on the town to show what they're talking about. These are the two areas I expanded. I want to build something here so they don't fall into ruin. So I'm looking for something here that's not going to keep me. It's going to provide me. This is going to be food and wealth, so I'm going to go with that. And then I'm going to look over Pylos. And there, I've got one food. I could always build on food there as well. I'm going to go with the homestead for both of those. So I'm currently building those. It shows an animation that they're being built out. So I've spent the money on that. Now I've got $500 to play with, or 500 whatever we're working with.
At your service.
I'm going to have him cause a little problem of Corinth on his way through. Disruption. He was pretty good. I think we found out at cultural propaganda. Zealously spread your culture, but also cultural tension. This public order for foreign cultures. So I think I'm going to have him do that, because I'm not really looking to take Corinth. It's going to cost me 487. He's got a 75% chance of effectiveness. And we'll find out if he's successful. There he's doing his work. Disruption failed. The agent has failed to disrupt the citizen.
But how we react.
So that just wasted $400 something. I got 286 left. Not a whole lot more to do. Every one of my armies is mustering troops. So I don't think I could build out anything. It'll show me down here if I'm allowed to build. Looks like Lamia is able to expand. Oh, it has expanded. On my next turn, I want to build that out again as well. Otherwise, I'll get some slums. So that's going to be important. I'm going to end another turn here, and then I'll add a new... Oh, I got to do my edict. Alright, so here, I got to go to Lacedaemon. And from here, I can issue an edict with different benefits. I've got mercenary negotiation, cheaper in mercenaries. Noble philanthropy, reduces cost. Commercial stimulation, bread and games, tax harvesting. These are military people. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with noble philanthropy. It's going to be cheaper for us to put together what we need. And a new return.
Like the caravan of merchants that has crossed the desert, it's time for us to go our separate ways.
Okay, so the Persians are obviously the ultimate bad guys, and they've ended their non-aggression pact with us, which is not what we want, but not unexpected. Alright, see, we have these slums in Lamia. Now this is going to cost us money to destroy these slums. It's a summer season. The seasons show up down here in the lower right. We have a bit of food surplus. Food surplus. That's funny because it's showing a -4 here. Okay, a food shortage in Sparta. Alright, so again, first things first, I'm going to go to my technology. I'm going to work on my second area of technology. I could focus totally on military and start building out, but I do want to work on some civil ones as well. So I'm going to go with the easy low-hanging fruit here. That's epistemology. The ultimate truth should be what every man aspires to. Okay. We find out here again, war was declared Epirus in the Thessalian League. I think this Thessalian League we want to be in better terms with. Thessalian League, whatever. So, Epirus again, this is who ends up losing to Rome eventually. Encourage populace, the people of province. And the encouraged populace is... Oh, I mean, even though we have these slums. Alright, we're gonna have to dismantle these slums. It's gonna cost us $500. We waited too long to build. We issued our edict, the noble philanthropy. I like to go to these places. And we got a quartermaster's report. It shows us all the units that were built, and if you click on them, it'll show you where they were mustered, I should say. Alright, so now we're dismantling the slums, so that kind of takes up what's going on there. So we don't really need that money anywhere else. I could look to my other provinces. I could do some expanding in these other places anytime it has an up arrow. We're not really a naval people, but again, if you look on the left, we do get other benefits from upgrading our ports. I want to try and do things that aren't going to cost me any food, because we have a food shortage. And if I could do something that will increase the food, like this, that's even better. Messenia, of course you could see then their little history on them. And close that out. Cytheria, I want to see where I want to upgrade this port. I'm going to go with Pylos and make it a harbor. Wait a minute. I had to undo that because actually this, well, it's going to add more food but decrease the public order per turn. And that's okay because I'm going to garrison an army there, so I'm going to go with that. That leaves me only 80. I'm going to go to my agents.
Can I serve you?
And again, I want to start moving him northward. Now, I do want to see, there's an enemy army over there. I'm going to harass them on the way up. Well, I don't have the money. I only have 80. I'm going to work my way. I'm going to work his way up here.
Setting forth.
So he can eventually. Now, while he's here, I'm going to have him set up. He's going to do a passive act, which is to spread corruption in Athens, the province of Attica. These, all right, these guys can actually move now. So I can move on Oreos. I have to check my diplomacy first with the Thessalian League. Now these guys, what don't they like about us? At war with Athens. They don't like that. They're actually Athens, they're defensive ally with Athens. They're at war with Epirus. So that leaves us in a tough spot. Because Empyreans, we have a cultural aversion, but we could build up this left side. I'm going to reach.
I am honored to receive this embassy, and will listen with interest to all you have to say.
Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They have a moderate, they're a little bit more receptible to this, so I'm going to try it now.
I must accept, although my honor cries out against it.
Alright, so
the words have much truth in them.
They've accepted our offer, so we're a little safer along this west area. Now, these are our established enemies. So I want to eventually take my army and move them in here, but at the time being, that leaves me open on my northern border. So I'm going to need to raise another army, and I don't have the money for it at this point. So I'm not going to be able to do that. So there's really nothing else I could do on this turn. I'm just hoping this food situation turns around in 4 months. I'm not able to build out, but here goes all on this turn, and then I'll end the broadcast shortly after. This goes very quick, and I have to keep an eye on where all these players are moving. The Athenian navy is powerful, and as they encroach, I got to be ready to deal with them. Korkyria there is.
Our joint enemies would tremble if we were your allies. Your strength, our wisdom, together would achieve great things.
So Melos is reaching out to us. They obviously want some protection against Athens. I'm going to accept the non-aggression pact.
So it is done. You have shown great prudence in your choices today.
They're reaching out to us to be friends, so it seems like a good deal. We have some attrition here in this province. And I'm not exactly sure what it's because of. I think because we're garrisoned. One of our nobles is increased in rank. Cult of Helen. For 1 turn is going to give us plus 10 wealth from culture, all regions. Helen of Troy. This gives you a little history there as well. This is my agent who is upgraded. I get to, right now he's an orderer. I could add another thing to him. He could be a provocateur, a dignitary, conspirator. I'm going to make him a dignitary because I think I need him to do some political work for me while he's out in the field. So anyway, I can continue on some other time. This has already been a half an hour. Again, like the video if you want to see me continue this. Otherwise, this kind of gives you a feel for the game as a grand strategy game. There are real-time battles that you go through that are pretty fun and impressive, but I didn't get to that point here. I could do that in another video if you like. Thanks for watching.